Welcome to Your Time to Thrive with personal fitness coach Jason Stevenson.
Hi, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the Your Time to Thrive podcast. My name is Jason. I'm your host. And today I'm joined by my amazing friend and producer, Benjamin Barber.
Hey, everybody.
Hi, Ben. How are you, man?
Been better, been worse. How are you?
I would actually say about the same thing. I don't mind that par level. You know, people have this image of me that I'm always happy, or you must always be in a good mood because, you know, when they see me, I'm up and ready and like in a good mood. I tell them, no, it's normal life, right? Like I'm a normal human. I just happen to get paid to be a motivator or to be more awake than my clients are most of the time, at least the AM ones. But it takes work sometimes, right? Like some days are easier than others. Some days are harder than others.
For sure.
It doesn't mean for me though, that it doesn't mean that it's not the option.
Yep.
Right. Like for me, I've always thought like, whatever it is, whatever's going on, whether I'm tired, I'm angry, I've had a long day, I'm not, you know, I'm upset about something that happened, circumstantial evidence, you know, there's just, for me, there's no other option. I've found myself in places and times where I'm not happy and I don't like that. You know, like you don't want to be there for long, right? Like you can realize that where you are isn't where you want to be and then you can change it. But we all have to deal with stuff sometimes. That's okay. That's normal life.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that.
So I got to ask, because I haven't talked to you in a couple of weeks, how have you been doing with your walk-in and your food and all that kind of stuff? We haven't really talked about your like fitness journey recently. Before we get into the nitty gritty and the heart of why we're here today, catch us up real quick. I mean, you've been walking a lot. I know that.
Yeah. So, been better, been worse. So my, this is basically what happened. So this has been the last like 3 weeks. I had a physical on August 31st. It went really well. I felt amazing for a week. Then they were like, hey, we got one of the tests back. You have a little bit of bacteria. We're going to put you on an antibiotic. I was like, okay, cool. They were like, you got any allergies to sulfa? I was like, no, not that I'm aware of. Famous last words. 2 days later, breaking out in hives, feeling terrible. Had to go to the doctor again. They were like, stop taking that immediately. Here's some steroids to clear up the not the infection, but the reaction, the allergic reaction. And they were like, never take sulfa again. I was like, okay. They were like, because it was bad this time, but like it could be very bad if you do it again. So I was like, okay, cool. I won't do that. That's terrifying. And then my anxiety was like through the roof because of that.
Yeah.
And then the steroids worked, and then they so I had a couple days of like recovery from that, and I started to feel better. And then the anxiety lingered, and one of the things that the allergic reaction did was it like raised my heart rate. Mm-hmm. Not like to and when I say that, I mean like it was like in the 90s, like resting, which is normal for people, but not for me. Yeah. You know, I'm in the like low 60s resting. So I was like freaking out, and then the prednisone lowered that, but then it like lowered it like too much to where when I was resting, I would look down and it was like 59. And I was like, well, now I'm scared of that. And again, those are completely normal things that if I didn't have like anxiety disorders, then I would not have like, you know, freaked out about as much. But yeah. I freaked out. So I freaked out for a week about the allergic reaction. Then I freaked out about like the steroids suppressing my immune system and lowering my heart rate. And I was like, maybe that's too much. Then I freaked out about that. And then like, you know, we had some illness that was not COVID related in the house. So I've been isolating, and then so all of it like freaked me out a lot. And the anxiety like crippled. So because of all of that, it's been like take out salads, but take out and not as much walking and not as much taking care of myself, and not, and but the anxiety's back under control, and I've been getting out and doing stuff again, and still isolating because whatever it is I don't want, like whatever the sniffles that we're taking are, I don't want, but yeah, so that's where that's where I've been at. It's been a rough September.
It has been, man. You've been through a lot, dude. I'm sorry to hear that. I didn't know
That's
that
all right.
you had been dealing with that kind of shit.
How are you?
I can't complain about anything now. That my normal life stuff is nothing compared to that, man. That's scary, dude. That's scary when we don't know what's going on. And when the doctors are like, so we're going to give you something and this is going to make you feel better. And then you take it and then you have a reaction to it. And like, yeah, stop taking that. That's
Right.
scary as shit.
It did make you feel better. I felt completely fine. But they were like,
this bacteria thing.
There's some bacteria. So we're going to get rid of that. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah. Okay. I'll do what you tell me to.
Yeah.
As long as you don't give me something I'm allergic to.
Oof. So,
yeah.
Anyway.
Well, at least you're feeling better. Right. And battled through that. We've talked about your resiliency growing from the self-care and from what you have been doing, taking care of other people, and from the steps that you've taken in your life, having overcome the anxiety and the things before. Had something like this happened like 5 years ago, do you think you would have the same perspective that you have right now?
No, I think it'd just be fear.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of fear, but there's more than just fear, and that's nice.
Yes. You mean you have other emotions going on, other thoughts and responses?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool. That's good. What do you like? I just attributed it blanket statement to those things, but what do you think your resiliency and your ability to bounce back like, what do you think that's from?
Repetition of horrors. Like, and then, how you get back up is important, but getting back up is important. And the more that it's a good example. Professional wrestlers, right? They learn how to fall their first day of training. You were supposed to like throw yourself down, put your arms out to help break your fall, and fall flat on your back and tuck your chin. And like that mat is hard, and the first time that it happens, because I have taken that a couple times. The first time that happens, you get your wind knocked out of you, and you're like, holy hell, how could I ever do this again? And it hurts to get back up and stand and whatever. And then you do it a couple times, and you're like, okay, that's okay. And then like, on the like 100th time that you do it, you don't really notice it, and you bounce back up, and you're, whatever. Same thing with like playing guitar. The first time, if you want to play guitar, the first time you like hold the strings down, it hurts so bad. And then you build up a callus. And I think that like in a good way, having difficulties allows you to grow calluses, and mixed with that, the more that you do it, the better you get at being resilient, but also the perspective that you get that like it's a turn and not a cliff.
Yeah, I hear you. I wholeheartedly agree. Where'd you get that? Is that a card? Rhinoban. So for those of you who are listening and not watching, flip that over again. I'll read it. Ben just showed me a card that says, here is a bucket to put your scary thoughts in so I can help you carry them. And then there's a picture of a bucket underneath.
Ronnie Ban.
That .co. That is a beautiful thought. Was that a gift? Somebody give that to you?
Yeah. So she's Ronnie Ban is Randy Bond. I'm not sure. Is Allie's favorite artist, and she had a clearance sale, and Dave bought us all a bunch of. This one says, "I feel proud of us."
Aw.
And then this is a sticker that I haven't found a spot to put yet, and it says, "The misfits and the in-betweens."
I love that.
It's very cool. There's also a to-do list, and I will hide the to-do list, but it says, it would be cool. Yeah, you read it.
It would be cool if I completed this list. However, if I do not, I will still be 100% loved.
And then it's a to-do list.
Good Lord. I love it. I'm going to look her up.
She's awesome.
Co. Unpaid solicitation here. No, that's beautiful. That's such a beautiful thought, because especially with what we're going through in this world nowadays, it really is important to be there for people. You know, even if it's just a voice to listen to, or somebody to give you a hug. And I miss that, because COVID kind of ruined all that stuff. Like, people don't get close, people don't give hugs, don't spend a lot of quality time with people.
Yeah.
But it's I think it's important. You know, I think it's cool how we do these podcasts like this, and we don't have these intentional things that we're going to really, really talk about, but we come up with a good topic that I bring to you every time. And then somehow conversations kind of come around to it. Because I think what you said there is really poignant. Today's topic, for those who are looking for that specific, the remember your lens, was something that was said to me last week by one of my clients and good friends. And it really resounded, echoed. And I've been thinking about it since she said it to me. And it was over a different type of topic. And we don't go into politics on this show. But the conversation was about how we look at things and how we see things and how we feel things. And that's based on what we've been through. And that's exactly what you were just saying. And I love how you said it's not how you get up, it's how quickly you get up, or like when you get up, because there's a piece of that. Like, you got to get up, right? Like, we get knocked down by stuff all the time. You get up, but it's how you get up too, right? Like, it's not just get up. Is it get up and go, oh, I just fell, and then spend the rest of the day in misery or bitching on social media?
Yes.
Or do we get up and go, yeah, I'm going to get up and go. I'm going to keep going. Fuck that. Keep moving. You shake it off. That break fall technique that you learned, we learned that in martial arts too. It's called break fall. And we learn it in different directions, because you're not always going to fall on your back. I agree with you. That sucks the first couple of times you do it. The first couple of times you hit the deck, and you do get the wind knocked out of you. But you learn, like you said, through repetition and through practice, how to respond to that. You know, you learn that you slam your arms down. You learn that you exhale on impact. Because if you're holding your breath, you're going to get that wind knocked out of you. But if you exhale, then it's already gone. It doesn't get knocked out. And then you just breathe in and you're okay. You keep going. I think that's a big piece of the puzzle in our resiliency, as far as utilizing our tools and our experiences. Because the question isn't, are you going to get knocked down by things? The question isn't, are you going to get sidetracked? This applies to the world that I live in, because the question isn't, are you going to fall off your diet? Are you going to fall off your habit? Are there going to be weeks of vacation where you don't exercise? Are there going to be weeks where you don't think that much about your food? Are there going to be weekends that turn into another couple of days where you're still eating like shit? Because we're going to go through stuff. That's not going to change. COVID, we're going to keep going through COVID. COVID's a respiratory virus. This isn't going to disappear. We're going to deal with it. We're going to learn to deal with it. We're going to learn to manage it. And we're going to learn what helps make our system stronger to deal with it, which is such a perfect example of our normal lives, right? You can't just eliminate things from circumstantial challenges, right? Like, you can't just change the direction that which you take to work so you avoid some pothole somewhere. That's a good solution for it, but there's going to be other potholes. Like, you have to learn to drive around them, slow down a little bit. Like, how you manage your challenges, how you get up. Ben, I love that, man. Writing that one down, man. How you get up matters.
You're welcome. I thought of it as I said it.
It's perfect. It really is. Because we could make a sticker with your face on it and then say it's how you get up.
Yeah. No, if I can be the poster boy for falling down, I would love it. That'd be great.
Well,
that'd be my life's work.
Let's go back months though, man. Remember when you fell in the yard and you're like, I'm not fucking living like this. I'm going to keep moving. I'm going to keep exercising. I'm going to get up and learn how to get up better.
I do, because I was walking around my backyard the other day looking for that hole, and I can't find it because the grass is filled in since the winter. And I'm like, where are you? I will find you and I will destroy you whole. And then I'm like worrying about like, all right, well, I'm walking around and like maybe my ankle. If I think about twisting my ankle hurts.
Yeah. Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
We have proven the placebo effect. We have. They've taken all kinds of studies across the world for decades and proven that people that are told that if they take a pill, it will make them feel better, they report fewer symptoms. It's proven. Whether the pill is actually the effective dose of whatever pill they're testing or it's actually a placebo. So what does that say? Right? What does that say? We can actually talk ourselves into and out of discomfort. We can actually talk ourselves into and out of stress, fear, anxiety. It's all the power in our heads. It's what thoughts create emotions. It's not the other way around. We can think about how we feel, but your thoughts are going to create those emotions. So for me, the lens thing is about getting unstuck, right? Like if we're looking through our lives at the same perspective, if I always go to the gym and I have to do my cardio on the elliptical and I got to go 25 minutes on the elliptical, and then I might have some time for those machines in the back that I know how to read the stickers on them and then I use them. And then the gym doesn't work for me because those aren't going to get you results long-term. Those habits aren't going to work. Then if I then leave that situation with the perspective that the gym doesn't work, I've lost. Because I haven't changed my perspective. I haven't taken the opportunity to learn from somebody new. In a previous life, I used to be the fitness manager for a couple of big box gyms. I might have met a couple of good people during that job, but present company included. But it always shocked me. And I learned to not take it personal, but as a new member, people were offered a free consultation with me. And I was always shocked, even sitting in the room when people were getting a new membership. You know, you're getting excited. You're signing up for the gym. Here's your key. Hey, here's how it works, 24 hours. Your monthly payment's going to come out on such and such a date. And here's Jason. He's our fitness manager. He's here to help you get an introduction into the gym. It's an hour-long consultation. When would you like to schedule that appointment? And people would say, I'm all set. And they'd say, well, you know, it's a good way to get an introduction into the gym, show you around, introduce you to the equipment, maybe help you get pointed in the right direction for your new fitness plan. And I'm all set. I know what I'm doing. Always surprised me because I know what I'm doing professionally. Like I've been doing this for long enough. I'm good at what I do and I love what I do. So I put a lot of passion into staying up to date with it. And I continue my education and always looking at new certifications and new ways of keeping my people fun, focused, you know, keep it engaging. But I know that I don't know everything about the gym industry. And this is what I do professionally, but I know that I don't know everything about the gym industry. So I know if I ever walked into a gym and somebody was like, hey, you want a free consultation? I'd say, yeah, let me see what I can learn. I'm always surprised when people think that they have figured it out. Like, I got that. I'm good. You can't teach me anything.
I feel like people say no to the free consultation because they think that it's just trying to sell them on training.
Fair. Did you feel sold on training?
I was there to get free training, so no. That's different. But, you know, you never know what you're going to learn. Absolutely. And today's episode, remembering your lens, has been very important to me because, you know, I forgot my lens, and so I had to go find it,
There you go. Find your
and
lens.
you know, now I can now I can continue.
How different would your camera view be? How different would the pictures be if you had a different lens? on
It
that
doesn't
camera?
work. That camera doesn't work
Right.
without the lens. It's not
Right?
like an
What if you had-
additional lens on top of it. Like the camera doesn't work.
What if you had a different lens?
Then
Would
it would be different. You know, you'd see things from a different angle, a different perspective, completely.
And the pictures would be different too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the apertures would be different, the filters would be different.
Sometimes a lens can have a crack in it. You can get some, you know, there are some lenses that let in light flares and imperfections, and other ones that smooth everything over.
Oh, he mic dropping, folks. Are you listening?
There's ND filters and colored lenses, and you know, my favorite quote from BoJack Horseman is that it's really hard to see red flags when you're wearing rose-colored glasses.
So powerful. It is. And in a world where we have so many opportunities to see things differently with all our access to information and other people's thoughts and opinions, I find it really important to remember your own. That's why I said that today. Like, remember your lens. Remember that what you're looking through is a lens that has been created by your experiences, by your past, by your nature, nurture, those things that you were taught, those things that you were given genetically, those things that were brought to you by the world and the environment that you live, and those things that you brought on yourself by your choices. Everything that you see comes through that lens. But here's the good news. You can change the lens. Just like that camera. Just like our perspective conversations all the time. You can learn new information, and it might not be something that you then decide to adopt. You may not listen to what I tell you to do. You may not take my advice. That's okay. I give advice freely all the time, and I say, it is given freely, take it freely. Because you get to decide, is this going to work for me? But remember that the way that you look at that advice, the way that you look at the things that happen around you in this world has to do with where you're coming from already. What color are the glasses that you started to look at this picture with to begin with? Because the glasses that I'm looking with and the glasses that you look with are completely different. I don't know that your red is my red. We just agree that that's red. I love that idea, man. My favorite example on this is the vacation mode. I call it vacation mode because whether it's a 24-hour break, whether it's a long weekend somewhere, or you get a vacation somewhere, tropical or someplace different, everybody comes back from vacation with a different perspective. Because you had a chance to see things differently. Even if it's just from a hotel room, you're not in your own house. Even from a different restaurant, it's not from your own kitchen. From different parts of the world, you're seeing the sunset differently. It's still the freaking sunset, but I'll tell you, places that I've seen the sunset from differently, like LA, like Aruba, like watching the sunset in Phoenix. Like there's like from the Azores, man, when we watch the sunset up in Iceland, it looked totally different. And it's the same fucking sun. It's just a different lens. It's just a different way of looking at things. And that's not bad. Don't be afraid of different. Take a look at it and then decide, is this going to work for me? Is this going to help me? Yeah. Can I use this perspective? Because you never know. Had you decided that that was scary and you shouldn't be doing all that walking because you could fuck your ankle up, totally different world right now, man. Megan says, and thank you always, Megan, for chipping in. I also think it is important to realize the power of things that you're constantly seeing or keep coming up. I agree with that. The repetition also changes our lives in the fact that what you do will continuously change your life. You know, that the repetition behind something makes you more comfortable with it, makes you better at it. But the things that you constantly see, the lessons that you're constantly being presented, the things that constantly come up. If you always have the same emotional reaction to something, sit back and think about that for a little bit. Is this serving me? Is this helping me? Is this going to help me get further in life? I should write that one down for you, Ben. There's a not like for use, but for a podcast. There's a podcast that I watched. It was a TED Talk that that's not a podcast, is it? It's a TED Talk. It's a TED Talk. Well, it's a public forum, so it's not a podcast.
It's a web format video.
Yeah, there you go. I knew you know the term for it. And he talked about a way of conquering your thoughts, and you just run through a quick questions, right? Like, is this serving me? Does this thought pattern serve me? Like, whatever it is, because when we react to things, whatever the lenses that we're seeing it through, whatever experiences that we've had in our lives that bring the reaction to us, if you have a moment to pause and think, is this serving me? Is this thought process, like where I'm going with this, the way I'm wrapping my head around this right now, is this good for me? Is this going to help me? That's such a powerful thought process, right? Like, it totally changes it. Instead of like, why did this happen to me? Or, well, I'm unhappy about this. Or, I don't know what I'm going to do now. Like, whatever negative bullshit pops up in your head is your child response. If you can take that thought and go, wait, is this going to help me? Because this path of thought processes, if I can stay in this for an hour or so, is this really going to serve me? Then you get to choose. Do I want to stay here? I bet somebody said that to you at some point in your life about that anxiety. I know it doesn't make it any easier because the feelings come up like that and they pop up when you have things that you can't control. But do you have a mantra? Do you have a meditation that you do when you deal with stuff like that?
No, I don't have a mantra, no. I do meditations. I do guided meditations, but I don't have a mantra.
Yeah. You can write them for yourself.
Yeah.
You can write something that goes right into you. You know, you can feel it in your chest when you say it. Whatever works, right? We got to find those paths. Find the things that help. It's worth a shot, right?
Absolutely.
My other favorite example of this, remember your lens, is the parent mode. I deal with it a lot because I deal with parents and kids relationships. You know, I train kids, or I train their parents, or I train spouses. It's oftentimes a spousal conversation where I'll have the same conversation with somebody and they'll hear the exact same thing from me that they heard from their parent or child or from their spouse or from their friend. And they'll say, you know, oh yeah, so-and-so says this to me all the time. But they hear it differently when it comes out of my mouth. We do that all the time with our friends. We do that all the time with our parents or with our siblings.
Yep.
Because that's the lens, right? That's we hear our parents say something and you automatically push back a little bit in defense. Like, I'm not going to do what my parents tell me to, or I don't know. I do. I try to, honestly, at this point. I know I didn't always think like that.
I'm sure Peg will be happy to hear that if she's watching.
She knows I take her advice. I called my parents for advice because I know that whether I take their advice or their suggestions or not, they have a different perspective. They have a different life experience for me. I respect the shit out of my elders. Are you kidding me? I feel lucky that I get to work out with people that are much older than I am, that I can learn from. They give me perspective. They remind me to stay active, stay strong, stay healthy, take care of myself. Because it's not always going to be easy to move. It's not always going to be easy to find time to do this stuff. But you got to be focused on that, man. You got to be focused on what's good for you, what's serving you. Remember, the way that you think about it is based on your past. That's the whole point of the lens. Everything that you think about comes from that.
Amen.
That's all I got today, man. What do you think?
I think it's good. Tell people where they can find you.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you, folks. Yeah, That's a big one, actually. The attitude of gratitude. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of the podcast. Whether you're listening live or you're doing the recorded version, we appreciate you very much. You make this worth our while. If you ever have any questions, folks, related to your health and fitness or any of the topics that we talk about on the podcast or any topics you would like us to talk about on the podcast, reach out. ThriveTrainingTeam.com is the website. All the social media links are on there and any other access points that you're looking for. Remember the lens that you're looking through, folks. This changes your perspective, change your life. It's not that complicated. And if you don't like the way it looks, you can change that too. Have a great and healthy day today, folks. We'll talk to you soon.
For more information, tips, and workouts of the day, check out ThriveTrainingTeam.com.